Hello my friends, we can hear some thunders in the distance, but I hope that we won't have any problem in my place at my fire camp. Anyway, the video of, that you are seeing will give you my opinion regarding the choice between two great knives, much different between each others, but anyway, you can bring them with you any time in your pockets. So stay tuned and let's see what my experience will tell you. Here are the two knives. Continues to thunder. I hope that we won't regret this short video, short exit. And anyway, this is the Spyderco, the much famous Spyderco Paramilitary 2, and this is the same famous Victorinox Swiss camp knife. I know that they are really different knives, but they are both foldable, and so if you have to choose between these two, I can have some tips for you. Now this Paramilitary 2 is really a beautiful knife. I really love this knife. I had another one not painted in black, and they stole it from me a few years ago, and so I bought another one. And it's really a beautiful knife, well made. It's pretty expensive, but I can tell you guys that the steel of this knife is really amazing, and also the way that it's structured and the way it is built is really something special. Also the lock mechanism is really weird, and also work really well. Instead of having the usual lock mechanism here, that you can by chance you can activate for mistake. This is almost impossible that you do that for mistake. And also is really comfortable knife. You see this curve of the spine here, remind me a bit of the Puko knives, and it's really comfortable. Also the guard here is pretty comfortable, and if you want to use it, you know, here, if you want to use it here with the thumb here to carve a bit, it's really works really well. So I don't have anything to complain about this knife. But let's see how you can use it in the field. Now, if you want to make feather sticks, this is a flat grind with a secondary bevel, V-edge. And if you want to use it to make feather sticks, it works really well. Also because of this continuous curve here, you see. And so this is just a small stick, but just to show you, you see, you make beautiful curves, beautiful feathers. You can use the tip of the knife, or you can use the back of the blade. Anyway, you can make, as you can see, really beautiful feather sticks. Sorry, I didn't see that. I didn't see that the camera was a bit up. You can see you can make beautiful feather sticks. You see, you can use the tip of the blade, and using the tip, making the curve, having the curve much pronounced, you make much more curved feathers. You see. Let me show you. I have to tell you guys that this is almost what you can do with this knife. It's really dependable. The lock mechanism is really dependable, but I won't use it for to batoon. It's pretty expensive to batoon it, and also you can break the mechanism here. Even if it's strong and well made, you can break it. It's really thin, you see, here and here. The structure of the knife is buried inside the handle, the G10 handle, but anyway, it's not made to batoon it. Even a small knife like this, which has a smaller blade than the Spyderco, is much more dependable if you want to batoon it. You see the spine? You won't break it. And also, if you want to use the tip to make small sticks, as you have seen it in my videos, previous videos, with this you can do it without any worry. You see the tip? You can do it without any worry. I do it anytime. But with this, the tip is really thin, you see? The tip is really thin, and also if you use it this way to stick it in the wood and break the wood, there is some chance, you can break the lock mechanism and cut your hand. It's really a dangerous way. I've done it before. Sometimes I've done it, but I'm not really comfortable to do that. So the most use that you will do in bushcraft activities is this. You can do some carvings, and also some you can use it for to cut the paracord and carve a bit the wood. You can even make a spoon, but they sell it for emergency situations, but for me, you can't make many things with this. I repeat, I love this knife. It's one of my preferred knife, foldable knives. So I won't say anything bad about this, but it's not an emergency knife. I prefer this eventually for an emergency. It's a fixed knife. But now, if we go with this small Victorinox, let's find another piece of wood to carve. You see, you can make good feather sticks too. Even this is almost flat grind with a V-edge, and it's as the Spyderco is stainless steel, even if I have to say that this steel is much better. But with this I have made many feathers without ever sharpening it, and you can see that you make good feathers, even if the blade is flat, it's not curved. So as you can see, this with a curved blade, and this with a flat straight blade. But if you use it with some angle, you can do it a good feather anyway. It's also a matter of pressure on the wood. Also, with this knife, even if it doesn't, you don't have a mechanism, lock mechanism in this knife, you see, it's really dependable. I will never use it this way to stuck in the wood, because I'm too afraid that it will cut my finger, and I won't battoon it. I will never battoon it, this knife, while with this I have battoon it a few times. This I won't battoon for no reason, for any reason. But anyway, you can make, as you can see, good feather sticks. And then I have to say that in bushcraft activities, and even in emergency situation, you have many options with these knives. You have many options with this knife. You see, you have the knife. If you have to make small jobs of carving, you have the small blade like this, which for carving a spoon is really useful. I have used it many times. You have this. I will make a video about this knife in next future, so eventually I will explain every use that I've made with this. This is just a comparison video, so I will make a full video about the Swiss camp. But anyway, you have this that you can use it to make some holes in the wood. When you make a spoon or something like that, you can make a hole in the wood, like this piece of wood. Then you have many other options that around the camp you can use with no problem, like this small saw. You see, it's really a small saw. I know that you won't cut big logs with this. But for a stick like this, eventually, if you have to use around the camp an oboe stove, and you want to make small sticks like this size to put in the stove before starting the fire, this is really useful, and it won't break, it won't lose the teeth. It will never lose the teeth. Then you have other things that you can use in the wood. I have used this many times, I have to say, for the ticks. If you have the ticks problems around you, I have found many ticks on my skin, unfortunately, and I use this to get rid of them, also on my dogs. Then you have the precious magnifier lens that I use many times to start my fire. I've used this also with the cheese. I will show you in a moment. This for the bottle of wine, I've used it many times. This, if you have wear glasses, this is really useful. This is a small screwdriver for the sunglasses or eventually the prescription lens. Then you have this, that if you use a wire, a metal wire for small jobs around the camp, I use it many times. You can use this inside here to cut the wire, and this to twist it. I've used it many times. Also this. Then you have other options that can be used during your adventures, like this for the fishes, to get rid of the scales of the fishes. This to cut fingernails or other stuff around, even a paracord. You can use it to make a straight cut if you don't want to use your knife. Anyway, I find that with this you have this that also is important. Here, if you want to make an edge in an emergency situation, you want to make an edge to your knife, you can use this. This file can be used, and also to cut some metal can be used. You see, here can be used to cut the metal as a file, but as a metal saw, and also for your fingers can be used. This point also is can be of some use. Always remember that this knife here don't have any lock mechanism, so if you use it to stab it in the wood, like in this way, if you make too much pressure, you can risk some injuries with this. Also this, which is really useful, better used in this way, because if you use it this way and put much pressure, can be dangerous, because no mechanism, no lock mechanism. So in the end, I can tell you guys, you have this, I don't remember the name, but for your teeth is really useful when you eat BBQ ribs. I've used also this sometimes. This can be useful to grab a paracord and pull it toward yourself. And I always find some new use for this knife. This is I've used this. You see, this can be used in the wood to make small cuts, because it's really sharp. So if you want to carve a bit with this, you can do it. You see? Anyway, guys, I have made this in leather to take always it with me, and the tool that I use most with this, I have to say that is this magnifier lens. In the summer, this knife is all I need to start a fire with some piece of charcoal or charcoal. Anyway, guys, just to end this video, if I have to choose between the knives, these two knives, even if, as I said, I really love this Spyderco, I will choose the Swiss Camp. The only thing in an emergency, I have to say, the only thing is that if you put the Spyderco in your pocket with the clips, you see, you have this clip that will prevent you to lose it, even if you can lose it. If you have to use this in an emergency that you find yourself in a place where you have little space to maneuver, like in your car, you have an accident with your car, or on your boat, wherever you want. If you have this at your disposal, you just make like this and this. To open it is just a moment. And also it's fun. You can use many ways to open it, like this with using this finger. And you can learn many methods on the internet to open this knife, and it's really fun. But I won't find many use in bushcraft activities that will make it really necessary to use this. While this, if you have an emergency, you have to find the right the right tool and use your nail to open it, and you won't have any lock mechanism. So in an emergency, I can say that this is more dependable than this. But again, in an emergency, you have many tools here: the saw, the file, this. You have many tools. So in an emergency, I will choose this anyway. This is just my opinion. I won't make any enemies between you guys that love this knife like me, because it's really a beautiful knife and a wonderful tool to have around. Also, the steel is perfect, just perfect. You will have to maintain the edge just every now and then, not because the steel is really good, and that's the reason for the price anyway. But again, I would prefer the Victorinox. And now let's make some tea, afternoon tea, before we get the rain. You can use the file of the Victorinox as a striker. It works pretty well. my friends. The good part of the summer season is that it's 10 past 8 p.m. and I'm here outside with the daylight. In summer, even if you have to work all day, you can always find some times to stay outside if you want. While in winter, sometimes it's difficult to go outside with the rain, with the snow, with the dark. Even if in winter I enjoy every moment. While sometimes in summer it's too hot for my taste. See you soon, my friends. I wish you all the best.